So the thing is, Eugene, it is cocktail hour, and this can be made as a mocktail or a cocktail. And I blame you because you signed me and some of our other friends from your chat group up for a magazine. It was like a witch magazine. And I read it from cover to cover, and there was this cool cocktail recipe that involved, do you see this?
Yes.
Butterfly pea flowers. Now, I don't just happen to have these on the shelf. Like, I'm not like Martha Stewart. So I had to go special order them because I will not be daunted. And the thing that's supposed to be really cool about this cocktail, which is
where did you find them when you say you special ordered? Where?
You know, the internet is a magical place, but I think I found them actually at a specialty store. And you can actually, if you see the photo, you can use it. You can make butterfly pea flower tea. And you can also use it as a food dye or to infuse. You see the little picture here. The infuser looks like it's a cocktail shaker with ice. So I have in my hand a cocktail shaker with ice.
Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. And what's in this, the secret to this cocktail, Eugene, I know we're supposed to be talking about your book, but you know how much I'm into distracting myself and you from the topic at hand. But what's in this cocktail is, because I'd rather talk about a cocktail than something else that happens somewhere. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Okay. So in this cocktail you can either use vodka or you could use seltzer water, right? And I am going to use this liquid, and you can decide whether it's seltzer water or vodka. I'm making two. I just put 4 ounces or maybe 4.5 ounces of either vodka or seltzer in there.
Oh, can you do gin too?
Why not? Why not? I think you could probably do anything, but don't do chartreuse because it might mess with the color scheme I'm going for. So we got some clear. We've got either seltzer or some. And by the way, I am making a double. Okay, so if you did this, you would, so per drink, it's 2 ounces, you have ice, and per drink, it's 2 ounces of seltzer or vodka or gin or what have you. And then I'm adding to that I have reduced this to a simple syrup. And I don't know if you know the way you make a simple syrup, but these butterfly pea flowers just look like dried flowers. And so if you're going to make this, let's say you put, you do like a 1/2 cup of water and a 1/2 cup of these, and then maybe a 1/2 cup of sugar, or you double it, and then you just boil it, reduce it, turn it into simple syrup, strain, and chill. Okay, no big deal.
How long do you boil it?
I think you stir it and you bring it to a simmer, and then you cook it for 5 minutes, and then you turn down the heat and you simmer more, let it cool a little bit, and strain it through your regular strainer, push it down. I can show you, let me show you what that looks like in the pot.
Yeah, let me see it.
Hold on. Sorry, I walked away, but this is, I think I want to be the Rachel Ray of the resistance. Okay. So see how this looks afterward. This is the pea flour after it's been reduced. And I just fell off my sandal. Okay, so, and this is how I strained it. Just a regular strainer, and I strained it into here. And it's a very pretty purple, very rich purple color.
Let me ask you a question. What's the nutrition of the pea flower? It's probably very high in antioxidants because of the color.
I mean, I'll look at the label.
Let me see. Yeah.
The label says 14 calories per serving, which is a 1/2 teaspoon. It has 0 nutrition. It's got 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, 0 sodium, 0 carbs, 0 fiber. But I don't know.
No, they got antioxidants. They got antioxidants.
Yeah, I know. I know. Okay. So I'll look that up later, Eugene. Yeah, because that's good to know. But obviously, this is the kind of thing where, people have enjoyed it for ages, probably because of its beautiful coloring and maybe its properties. And plus, there is the medicinal property of the seltzer or the vodka that goes into this. Okay. So now, if I were doing a single of this, right, I'd have 2 ounces of the clear liquid. And then I need to do 2 ounces of my, of my pea flour.
Right.
So I'm pouring 1 ounce in.
Right.
I have a little more, but because I'm doubling this,
Right.
I've got to add more. Sorry, a little more to add to the situation.
Oh.
And it's so pretty. So pretty, Eugene. Yeah, I think you can. Oh, you can kind of see.
Dark.
It's very pretty. And
Oh.
if you had the coloring, is just something. Okay, so I poured that over. I poured that in my cocktail shaker. This was a gift for me when I was a corporate lawyer in New York. My friends, on my last day of work, I might be getting confused because I got no. Wait, I got many cocktail shakers for some reason. This might be for my friend Ted Mills, but this is lovely. Don't put it in the dishwasher. It was from probably a antique shop. So I'm going to shake it. Shake, don't stir. Okay. Got it all shaked. Shook. Now, I had, before we began to meet, chilled these cocktail glasses. They're not as chilled as they look anymore because it's warm in the kitchen. So you may notice there's going to be one thing that's going to be special, and it's going to be lemon, Eugene.
Ooh.
I'm going to tell you about this in a moment. The next thing I'm going to be doing is pouring this mixture into one of these glasses. I'm going to show you. And it's just going to look like a watery purple beverage. But the secret is going to be, if you cut and squeeze your lemon, you need 1 ounce of it. And because I am Julia Child, I have my ounce of lemon juice here,
Perfect.
2 ounces. But I've separated these. Do you know why? Because what we do, Michael's got to come in for his drink. What we do is we're going to be pouring this mixture in.
Yeah.
And then over the top, you add the lemon juice, because then you have this thing turn colors before your very eyes. So we're going to try it twice because I'm doing this. This is not like, I don't have like a whole kitchen crew here. It's just me, the nasty woman. So what I do next is I grab that shaker, and it's a little cold. You don't want to get any frostbite, Eugene, on your hands. So I kind of grab it like this. I got my glass, and I'm just going to pour it in. Right, give a little room. Now, you might say, well, Jen, that looks pretty good.
I have a question.
Yeah, I can't answer questions because time is of the essence, Eugene.
Oh, time it. Okay.
So do you see this right here? How pretty it is.
Beautiful.
Watch this.
Oh my God.
Yep. And if you want to see that again,
I do.
Let me do one for Michael. Okay.
Michael is a very lucky man.
And he's coming in right now. I don't think he's going to come on camera. He won't. But look, Eugene, second time.
Yeah. Oh my, it's magic.
It is magic. Here, honey. Here you go. He's not going to come on camera. And so, cheers, darling. Wait, just come. Your hand can come. Yeah, just right there.
Put my face in.
No.
Why? He's got a handsome face. I'll swear to God, he's a handsome man.
Do you want to peek it here? Pick your face in and say hi. Hey, honey.
Oh my.
Okay.
You're the Meghan Markle of cooking shows. I swear to God. Go away, honey.
I don't watch your show. Eugene, this is delicious. Okay.
I'm so jealous. How is it? Tell me how it tastes.
Oh, it tastes like a lemon drop in a sea of lavender, and there's no fascism, and there's no Donald Trump. And it feels like, get this, it feels like your book just made the New York Times bestseller list. So can we pivot to that, hon, while I drink my cocktail?
Well, I am not kidding you. That is, first of all, let's just discuss what you're wearing, which I think is appropriate. And I think you should have a cocktail making show with a sideline of cooking. And
I just feel like as long as there are mocktails available, that it's okay.
You could do a mocktail.
That is good. This could be a mocktail.
I would, if I were you, Jen Taub, aside from the
Yeah.
show that you do every day, which we can't live without, which my sister, Candy, texts me, Jen Taub's going live. Oh, Jen Taub just went live. Eugene, you just missed Jen Taub. That's
Doesn't
how
she want you to sleep? Tell her not to wake you up.
she just, she wants me to know every single. So that show we keep. But why don't you do an additional mocktail show? Just make a mocktail.
Oh my God, where I mock people.
Ah!
Girl, why aren't we in the writer's room together? I mean, I could learn from
No,
you.
that's
Yes.
perfect.
Oh my God, stop it. Stop it. Can I just
If
say,
we hadn't done this, if we had gone yesterday, if we had taped yesterday, we never would have come up with this idea.
you know what? We both know. We both knew and know. And this is what's talk about. Let me just tell people why we didn't go. You were in the city at someone's office, and I was like in my studio, whatever. But you were wearing, for some reason, it was adorable, but it was like a pumpkin colored jumpsuit, which I thought sent the wrong message. And your camera was a million miles away.
I'm also
right?
wearing.
No, that's beautiful. That's like raspberry and a gorgeous
No,
green.
this is just the same.
Well, it was just the camera. And so we just decided we couldn't get
it was the camera.
Her camera was like making her this like this, and I was like this. It didn't work.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the fact that I'm supposedly a lawyer, but I only come up in Jean's book.
Jen, you
I
teach
didn't
law.
approve of what
You teach law. And
okay, I teach law. However, I'm upset. I didn't like what you were planning to wear. Although it turns out, in fairness, I mean, I liked the brown jacket. I just felt like the day you were on the stand, you were going to need something. And what you don't know, Eugene, because I didn't know you knew that I called Robbie until I read the book.
Hell yeah,
I didn't know.
I
didn't know she knew. So can you tell the story about? Can you tell whatever story you want? It doesn't have to be about me. Can you just tell any story? Oh no, I know. What didn't you put in the book that you wanted to, but there wasn't room, or someone said,
No, I put every single syllable I wanted to put in that book. I even put 4 great pieces of evidence we did not present trial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that in the book.
Yes. I put the first one. The first one was in Michael Wolff's book, Too Famous.
Right.
He has quoted Jeffrey Epstein, who was on a call at the time. And Jeffrey Epstein is telling the caller that Trump ran into Epstein a few days after the event in Bergdorf's.
Okay.
And regaled Epstein with the sordid details. Regaled it.
And the reason why Michael Wolff, the author, put it in the book is because he interviewed Epstein, and he mentions this to him.
No, the whole book is he did hundreds of hours with Epstein. So
right.
And Robbie decided not to even try to put that into evidence because the name Epstein was too prejudicial.
You know what? I think Robbie is right. I think she is possibly the best lawyer on the planet. Just a few days ago was the anniversary of of Windsor, the case she won that ensured that we would get gay marriage in the U.S. And I wish people had mentioned her. She's also beat Donald Trump twice. It's a 3-year case. She also beat the Nazis in Charlottesville. There's no better lawyer. I am thinking, Eugene, of getting her phone number tattooed on my arm, not like a Nazi death camp tattoo, but then she might change her number. So how, if I'm ever in trouble, I want to call Robbie. I need to ask her never to change your number, right? Call Robbie. Okay, so what else did you guys decide to leave out of the trial? What did the judge say?
We didn't. That was decided not to. We did. Right. Robbie decided beforehand not to enter that into evidence. What we couldn't get into evidence was Trump's book called, forget the name of it.
What chapter is that in? I'll see.
Anyway, he gives you shopping tips for buying gifts in Bergdorf's.
Oh, page 261. I'm finding that. Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah, he gives.
Here we go.
Many shopping tips. Go ahead, read it out.
Okay, so this is about okay, this is the evidentiary issue that Sean Crowley put before Judge Kaplan. It's a book authored by Mr. Trump that we would like to introduce. Judge Kaplan, what book? Sean Crowley. It's called Think Like a Billionaire. Yeah. And we would like to introduce a small portion where he talks about shopping and buying gifts from Bergdorf's. Remember, Donald Trump said he's never been there. He doesn't shop there, even though it's like across the street from his home.
Yeah. But he wrote a book about it.
And we don't know. Kaplan just said no.
No, he said no. Then we had, Robbie had a very revealing interview with the White House press secretary. And she revealed some of Trump's reaction. Go ahead, read that.
Keep talking, Eugene. I'm just finding it.
And that was very revealing. Jen, that's the one piece of information I could not reveal in the book because it had not been released to the public, part of her deposition. But
has it now?
No.
So this bothers me, right? Because I feel like I need to call her to find out. So I'm going to read.
It's devastating. It is devastating.
So there is a part.
We got to some of it. Yeah.
Okay. So, but I can tell you, this is you speaking. I can tell you that Robbie speaks with Stephanie Grisham shortly after Robbie reads Grisham's book. And her book was called I'll Take Your Questions Now, What I Saw at the White House. And I can tell you this is a quote from Ms. Grisham's book. I was in the Oval Office with Jared, Dan Scavino, and a few others when the Carroll claims came up. Trump was doing his usual routine when accused of misconduct. She's a liar. She's gross. Do you think I'd be with that? On and on, mostly attacking her physical appearance rather than the I would never do that to my wife line. Then, at one point, sitting at the Resolute desk, the president shot me an unusual look. It's hard to explain, but it was like he was staring me down or piercing my soul. You just deny it, he said. That's what you do in every situation. Right, Stephanie? You just deny it, he repeated, emphasizing the words. So what you said in your book, why is this evidence not introduced? Ms. Grisham presents some of the strongest evidence for Carroll v. Trump, but Robbie thinks that because Trump claims my cause is political, and because he tells the world in an official White House statement that I'm just being paid by the Democrats to sue him, hauling Stephanie Grisham, Trump's former White House press secretary, to New York and putting her on the stand will absolutely look political. And our case is not political. It is personal. So there's two different things going on. There's stuff that she revealed in her deposition that was jaw-dropping. And then there's separately the decision not to bring her to the stand. So first, Robbie says not bring her. And now you can't even write in your book what she said at the depot.
No, and it is mind-blowing.
Okay, so you can't say what it is, but can you tell me did it even shock you?
Well, I thought it would win the case. We won the case without it. And then the fourth piece came in too late. We were in trial, and I received a text alerting me to the fact that Spy Magazine ran an article in the late 80s about where New Yorkers like to have their lunchtime romance, their nooners. And number 5 on the list was Bergdorf's changing room. And Trump was on the cover of the issue.
Ooh.
So it was, Robbie was, we couldn't, it was just too late. It was just too late. Nell Scoville had written it. Graydon Carter was the editor of Spy. It was Nell Scoville had just graduated from Harvard. Her articles were extremely factual and very funny. It was unshakable evidence. We couldn't use it because it came in too late. We just found out about it. So, a well-known fact in New York that Bergdorf's is a place where this happens. We just couldn't get anybody to absolutely officially say it on the witness stand because nobody wants to make an enemy of anything to do with Bergdorf's. It's a wonderful department store, but it's well known among people in New York.
And for people watching now, I just want to say this: who haven't read the book or don't know much about the details, this is something you at trial, but also in the book explain so clearly, and it's something I know as a former New Yorker. Bergdorf's isn't a department store in the fashion of something you might be thinking, like a Bloomingdale's, or even if you went to Sears. It's not like that. It's a boutique and carefully curated. It's not like Target where clothing is on a round. You walk in, and as you mentioned, it used to be a mansion. You walk in and there's a table and there might be a few shirts laid out, and maybe there is one gorgeous leather jacket. And guess what? There's, at least when I was there, there's not one of those tags clipped on it so you don't steal it. Right? This is a place where, and also when I have been there, I've never seen a salesperson on the floor ever above the first floor. I mean, I just hadn't. So to me, it made sense. Right. But to convey that to a jury, and I saw the jurors who was on your jury who were not from Manhattan, who may have or may not have ever been at Bergdorf's. It's not like, by the way, Jean, like I bought anything there. I think I, in my life at Bergdorf's, bought one thing and I still have it. It's it's a black cracked ice, kind of with a Marilyn Monroe style top dress that then fans out. I bought it at Bergdorf's on New Year's Eve because I had nothing to wear, and I worked so hard that I had to come in and buy something. That's the only thing I bought at Bergdorf's. Beautiful. And I guess when I bought it, like in 1993, turning 94. That era.
Have it? Do you still have it?
Of course I do.
You would never throw. It's a classic. You would never throw it away.
And I remember this. Yeah, someone told me then. I didn't quite believe them, and I was in my 20s. Spend money because it will last.
Yeah.
And sometimes I still went to Zara and, that stuff fell apart, or Ann Taylor, like the suits I bought for work from Ann Taylor have crumbled. That cracked ice dress and a coat dress from Barney's are still with me. And that is why I try to stay fit so I can still wear the dresses I wore in my 20s. That's why you spend money in your 20s. But how do I get distracted? Eugene, this is about you.
But no, you're making the book is, there's a tragic event in the center of it, but the book is funny. It is
funny.
It's a high comedy because I found myself in the middle of surrounded with characters that Jonathan Swift himself could not have created, right? Who could come up with these people? No. And with the scene after scene that was surprising, bizarre, hysterical. It was
but real. But Eugene, there is no one on this planet, because I saw the people you were describing who can get someone like this in a sketch. Like the lawyer you were working with, her only goal, because she was advising you on what to wear. Should you wear the false eyelashes or not? And instead of saying something like, well, she would have no idea, you described her as someone whose aesthetic, her goal was to, after she had her baby, to be the hot mom at Disney World or on the beach. And I'm like, I know who that is, right? Or your Joe Tacopino. Oh my God. I witnessed firsthand. And you show so much respect for everybody because you see the brilliance and the limitations in everybody. And Alina Haba Esquire is, I mean, you guys may see her on TV and think, oh, she's pretty, whatever. No, in real life, she's mesmerizing. And you captured that.
She is, and arrogant. She's deliciously arrogant and so confident. And as you know, Jen, you were in the court. Donald Trump belittled her. he and Boris Epstein sat at that table and belittled her and tore her down, and yet she still stood up, kept her head up. And
well, I was in the first trial, so I saw her visiting the first trial. I didn't go. I wasn't at Carroll 1, which was after Carroll 2. I was at the time you won your first verdict.
That's right, and that was.
I didn't come back because my father had passed away in December, and I couldn't make it in January. But I did send you some gloves to wear if it was cold outside. But
that's right. And I did wear them. I for the January trial. I did wear them.
The gloves didn't make the book. I looked.
I didn't.
In the next edition.
Yeah.
You mentioned the coat, but not the gloves. It's fine. I'll get over it. It's fine.
Wow.
Okay.
I thought I said 3 pair of gloves.
So there's this other thing, Eugene. I think it might be us, you and me and Robbie being from the Midwest, because there were things that resonated. Like I too, when I found out who Fran Lebowitz was, I think my mother had bought a book of hers. And I was like, I love this woman. I got to get to New York.
I was fascinated by morning routines. I was fascinated what time people get up in the morning, how much they accomplish. I was fascinated by Hunter Thompson. I list every single drug, alcohol, food that he takes because I personally was on the brain diet. Remember the brain diet?
What is the brain diet? Does it involve eggs?
You remember the brain diet? I list everything in the brain diet. That's all I ate. Remember?
Oh, wait. Tell me. Okay, I didn't know it was called.
Leafy greens, berries. I would love this. That drink is on the brain diet. You know,
I have in my fridge. This is the time of year for those Washington State cherries. They're like yellow and red. Have you seen those?
I just got some the other day. Oh,
I eat them. I eat them by the pound. And then blueberries. I mean, summer is so good for these fruits. And I'm trying to eat as much that is dark green and bright orange. People.
Yeah,
I think the brain diet is so smart because people are always focused on, how am I getting, how their body. Focus on your brain, and it's the same thing. It's better. Think about feeding your brain, right? And you'll be fine.
As soon as if you feed the brain, then you become smart enough to realize that looks are not that important. The brain is that,
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. Which do you think is it more important to have money, brains, or looks?
Well, I think it's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need the basic necessities to survive. Let's face it, if you don't have a roof over your head or medicine or food, you can't. But beyond that, brains, no question.
You put brains first.
Absolutely. No question.
Well, Alina Haba Esquire answered.
Yes.
And I think maybe she's correct because it's worked for her. She's also.
If you have them, I mean, looks can be a way if you choose. Looks are good in the marketplace, right? Looks, if you cash in on them while you still have them, can get you access to something. But at the end of the day, who cares? At the center, if you have your basic needs met, I think a loving heart and intelligence are much more important than anything else.
Can I just say, have you seen the Duchess of Sussex's cooking show?
I've heard it's good, but no, should I watch it?
Yes, you should watch it because she does not have she's good. I think it's very well done. And she is pretty enchanting, but she does not have discussions like this, which is more important.
I don't want to insult Meghan Markle or her hot husband.
Oh, no, we don't insult. I'm just saying she doesn't have this. She has.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think the mocktail.
So I feel like we are dancing around a really hard conversation, which it's not hard for me. No. I know why you laugh, and I know why this book is so funny. But the hard part of this is why it is in this world when women are assaulted and carry that pain inside of them that affects them forever, but still show joy, why they're not considered worthy victims. I mean, it was heartbreaking when I saw you in court. And when I read the book again, you made me so proud when Joe Tacopino was asking you why you didn't scream.
Yeah.
Why do people think, if you're being stabbed, when someone walks up to you and stabs you in the back on a street, of course you'd scream. But
Well,
if
maybe
you're in a
you won't.
situation, because you think you're going to die
I
and you
know.
were trying to figure it out. I mean, you're trying to figure it out, and there's so many reasons. You didn't want to make a scene. But I think deep down in our heart, you were trying to laugh. You're trying to do anything to save your life. You don't, it's
Yeah.
instinct.
Instinct.
And where does this idea come from that a woman would scream if she's being sexually assaulted?
No, we know what the Bible comes straight from the Bible, Jen.
What?
Absolutely.
I did not know this. Explain.
If she doesn't scream, she is to be stoned. And then
who wrote that stupid thing? Okay, go ahead.
And then
Oh my God.
Who's the justice of the Supreme Court? What's his name?
Oh, Brett Kavanaugh.
No, the other one. The very
Clarence Thomas.
No, the other one.
Alito?
No, the other one. Alito. No, he cited a 1700 case. This comes from the 1700s. That women, if a woman doesn't scream, then she is not being raped. It is a belief that a woman is guilty and wanting it and enjoying it if she doesn't scream. Tacopina apparently was living in the 16 or 1700s. Backed up by many of the people in the Republican Party, believing that women are, should not have any rights in this country. So he believed, as do many men, that there's a perfect victim. The perfect victim always calls and reports to the police. She doesn't care if she'll get fired. She doesn't care if the man will retaliate. She doesn't care if her life is in jeopardy if she reports. No, perfect victim always reports, always screams. And after the attack happens, her life is, she pretty much goes back to her cave and covers herself up with a dish towel. And then she's not allowed to laugh afterwards. She's not allowed to go to a party. She's not allowed to say she's feeling great. She's not allowed to enjoy her life after an attack. That was her vision. So he beat up on me because I said I didn't scream. And he beat up on me and he beat up on me. And that weekend on the social media, the hashtag is I didn't scream either. And one story, it was story after story, just break your heart. She was on a camp bus coming home. A young woman of 17, I think she was. The main guy who runs the camp was in the front. His wife and kids were in the back of the bus. It's filled with campers. And he raped her in the front seat of the bus.
Oh.
And she did not scream.
Of course not.
Of course not. Yeah, so that's the...
because if she did...
Yeah.
Well, first of all, she was stunned, probably, I'm guessing. And also, he would have lied. He would have said she was pinching me or she did, there's no way it would have worked out.
No.
She was embarrassed. She was scared. She was stunned.
Her friends are there.
Her friends are there.
Yeah, her friends are behind. The little kids are there. So that's the kind of story. So Tacopina took some bad press for that.
So I got a couple things for you. One of the most powerful moments in this book is something you had, I remember you had spoken about, I think either that evening or the next day on television with Robbie with you when you were making the rounds after your victory after the first trial. And you said at the end of the trial, you Joe Tacopina shook your hand and you looked at him and you said, he did it and you know it.
Yeah.
And then after that, Joe dropped out of the cases. What do you think? Why do you think that may have influenced him? And why didn't he let Trump testify? What's going on there with Joe? Because Joe will represent the worst people in the world. He's a good lawyer. And if you have the woman who killed Natalie, whatever is the woman on the beach, I'm forgetting what it is. Right. If your son is a monster and you still don't want him to go to prison and you have a shit ton of money, you call Joe Tacopina. So what did he do? Why did he walk away from this, do you think? Do you think Trump fired him?
I think Trump asked him to cross some lines. And I think he was That's not Joe Tacopina beating me up about screaming. That's not Joe. That's Trump telling him, you want the jury to get me off? Bang on the thing. Do you want the jury? That's why Joe Tacopina beat up on Carroll Martin, an icon in New York, a Black woman. He beat up on her and beat up on her and beat up on her. I could not understand. What is Tacopina doing? Many of the jury members are people of color, older women.
You think he threw the case?
I think Trump told him, well, it entered my mind. It entered my mind because that just didn't sound, but Trump told him to beat up on Black women.
Mm-hmm.
He was following Trump's orders, and I think he was in a rough place. I think he's he's a great attorney,
for sure.
But he did himself no glorious service.
Mm-mm. Let me ask you the next thing, Eugene. How much money have you gotten from Donald Trump?
None yet. But when I get it, I'm going to give it to everything he hates.
Oh, good. Like women? Like
binding the wounds of democracy. Yes. We see, Jen, I want to make it public on Substack. Every cent I give will be public.
Good.
And I can't wait, because what does Donald Trump love above everything else?
Money.
What? And can you imagine how much he loves his own money?
Mm.
And can you imagine how pissed off he'll be when we give that money to everything he hates?
Making it public. Today some of Donald Trump's money that he lost because he's a convicted sexual offender. Not convicted, I'm sorry. Adjudicated sexual offender. And what Kaplan said was the judge equivalent of rape. I'm trying to not get sued. Oh my God. Yeah.
On your Mocktails show.
What'd you say, hon?
We can announce one or two of them on your Mocktail show.
On my Mocktail show. My friend, we didn't talk a lot about the book, but I think
we did. We had a wonderful conversation about the book. We did. And
so,
it was an instant bestseller. We didn't have a run-up to the book.
That's right, because I didn't say you BITCH. I love you. You didn't even tell your friends. You have so much discipline, Eugene.
Oh, well, you know what it's like to have a secret. A secret is a powerful thing to have. It really, it was.
I wish I knew that.
Well, you know it now.
No, I do. I think it was brilliant of you. And so you had no run-up, and yet the surprise release, you still got a bestseller here.
Instant. Boom. Bestseller. I have never in my life even dared dream of such a thing, ever. I would dare not think of it, and I'm just, it was like.
I'm so happy for you. The reason why this book sold is because it's funny as hell. And you've been very smart, because people might think, oh no, do I want to deal with that topic? That's not the topic. You are such a keen observer of character, and the details that you pick out. You're hysterical. I mean, I've read all your work. Well, that's not true. I haven't read all of your work. I've read your last three
That's
books.
Fine. Yeah.
That's better than I'll go back into the oeuvre at some point.
No, you don't need oeuvre. You don't need you're president accounted for. This is what I want is that that drink. Now we have to think of a name for that drink.
This drink?
Yeah.
You would call it the Eugene Special.
Yes, thank you. That's it.
So, my dear, before we leave, what gives you hope right now? We are in, obviously, the throes of a disastrous authoritarian fascist regime where the U.S. Supreme Court just said that a president can issue a patently unconstitutional order, and there's no way to stop him unless every single person affected by the order, at least state by state, brings a lawsuit. And they all have to be part of the lawsuit, because what the heck is going? Okay, I don't want to get too much into the legal weeds, spiritual weeds. What gives you hope, Eugene?
Well, what gives me hope is I have one fact.
Mm-hmm.
My one fact is right now, Americans are very lazy, sitting on their lazy asses. We are
For
sitting
sure.
on our asses. It's pissing me off.
1000%.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
here, women control 57% of the wealth in this country. If women got off their lazy asses and walked out their front doors and looked left and right and figured out how to organize, we could take back anything we want. We control the wealth of this country. That means we control Trump. We just have to organize. We just have to stand up and walk out the fucking door and look left and right. That's all. The answer is here, Jen. It's right in front of us. We have the money, 57%. If we can just get the women together, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it.
I'm going to just start with my mocktail show, see how that goes. And then I'm going to walk out my front door and see how that goes.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
We got a
Thanks for
plan.
spending this time.
I loved it, Jen. I've been on a boat. You know this. I love this. I love it. Adios.